Good morning and welcome back to another video. I told myself that I wasn't going to start my videos off with a greeting, but how rude would that be if I started a YouTube video without saying hello to my fellow subscribers? I feel like that's kind of disrespectful, right? That's like coming into someone's house and not saying hello, even though like you would be coming into my house, but I still feel like I need to say hello to you guys. So hello. I just also want to say that when I am expressing myself and talking about my past and talking about how I feel presently, I'm not looking for pity. Okay, I'm just looking for a listening ear, and also I want to express myself so I don't feel shitty anymore. I feel like one quick way to fall into depression is because of lack of self-expression. I think this is like really healing for me, and I say this a lot and I'm probably gonna keep on saying it, but it's not because I need you to be like, I feel so sorry for you or anything like that. You know what I mean? So please, if you want to be like, oh, I can relate to you, by all means, but I'm not looking for pity or validation in my sadness. I just want to get that out there. Next thing I'd like to talk about, I want to build a community, because I feel like I'm meant to be a leader, and I don't like to say that because it sounds very like not narcissistic, but I feel like to me it sounds egotistical, because it's like, why do you think you're meant to be a leader? I just don't think I'm meant to be a follower. Are there people that I follow and people that I look up to? Absolutely. I actually learned this in my communications class, to look for people who are better than you. Want to hang around people who are better than you. Don't hang around people who are in the same wavelength than you or below you, because it's like, how are you learning? Who is like motivating the other person? I want to build community, but I also feel like I am not looking for people who want to stay in their sadness and marinate in their sadness and not do anything about whatever negative emotions that they're feeling. I get it. You feel like shit, feel it. I'm not saying don't feel your emotions. Feel your emotions, but figure out how you're going to get out of it. Don't want to sit there and like live in it and die in that feeling. I want a community where we feel this negative emotion together, but at the same time, we also want to work on fixing it and building better relationships, building a better lifestyle together, motivating each other. I'm not looking for, oh yeah, I also feel that way, but let's just feel that way together. No, let's feel that way together and be better together. That's what I'm looking for. So this week for me was a super hard one. I feel like it's usually a super hard one for me, but I feel like this week was draining for me. I felt super lonely. I was telling my therapist this because I was like, I only see her once a week. I only see my therapist once a week, and I feel like every day my emotions, my feelings change, So by the time I end up talking to her, I may not have been feeling the way I was feeling throughout the week. And it kind of leaves me in this weird space. It's like, so what do I talk about? Do I talk about how I felt this week, or do I talk about how I'm feeling now? And there's also no guarantee that I won't get off the phone and get off our session and I won't go back to feeling like shit. So that was like super interesting, because I feel like that's the same thing with this. I feel like throughout the week I go through all these different waves of emotions, and by the time I'm ready to sit down on the chair and talk to you guys, I can't guarantee that I will be feeling the same thing. So it kind of leaves me in this weird space of, what am I going to talk about? But I guess I'll just talk about like how lonely I felt this week. I felt super lonely. I felt super powerless. I felt like there was nothing I could do to alleviate me of this pain that I was feeling. I felt like nothing was real. I felt like everything that I was doing, going to school, trying to graduate so I can get a good job, I felt like none of it mattered. I could literally lose my mind today and the money in my bank account won't matter. All the classes that I'm taking won't matter. It literally felt like nothing matters. And I just didn't know where to go from here, because I can't not do anything. That's another thing. I can't just like sit on my ass all day and not do shit, because at the end of the day, that's only going to like F me up. So I was really feeling like, damn, like powerless, lonely, feeling like it was an illusion, like nothing fucking mattered. That was super hard. And I was telling my therapist, I'm like, I don't know. And she was just basically like, are you doing all this for you, or are you doing all this for other people? And I'm like, girl, I don't know at this point anymore. I'm just doing shit. I'm just doing things that I think I'm supposed to do. And here's the thing about school. I do school because I feel like if I'm ever going to work a 9 to 5, it's going to be with a degree, because I refuse to do the whole minimum wage thing. I'm not saying like I need to make 3 times over minimum wage, but I need to make more than minimum wage. In this economy, babe, I cannot live on minimum wage. McDonald's workers are making $20 an hour. Minimum wage is 16. McDonald's workers are making, or actually I think it's fast food workers are making $20, 20 something dollars an hour. I need to make at least 30. I just feel like if I'm going to live on this earth, I'm going to achieve something. I'm going to have something. I think school gives me discipline and it gives me a reason to wake up and like do something and see people, even though I just now recently started going into in-person. I've been doing online for the last 2 years, but now we're in person. I kind of like it. I kind of miss online, but I could see why it was beneficial for me to have in-person classes, because I do think like being around people helps you a little bit, lifts up your spirits sometimes, not really, because people really know how to work your nerves. So I guess I can just start with like the feeling of loneliness, because I really want to like deep dive into that and just like where I am, where I came from to how I am now. When I was younger, I was a pick me. I feel like I was the person who kids didn't really like, but if I liked you and I wanted to be your friend, I was going to be your friend. There's nothing you can do to make me not want to be your friend. People would try to bully me, kids would try to bully me, but you really couldn't bully me, because if you give it to me, I'm gonna give it to you right back. So that was always me. I was always forcing myself into these spaces, begging for friendships and like trying to prove my worth to people. Always been me. This followed me from elementary school, junior high, high school. High school, it got a little better, but it was still the same thing. There were still people, friends that I graduated high school with, and I was friends after high school. I put myself in their club. I put myself in their vicinity, in their areas, because I liked you. I want to be friends with you. I don't care if you didn't fuck with me, but I fucked with you. It didn't matter if you told me you didn't like me or you hated me. It would take a lot for me to choose, I don't want to be your friend. You know, you'd have to do some crazy shit for me to be like, oh, you're not my people. Once I made up my mind about being your friend, I was going to be your friend. There was this girl, let's just say her name was Jayla. This was in high school. I went from LA to Bakersfield, California. So it's about 2 hours away from each other. And so I was obviously the new kid around. Even though I started freshman year, second semester, I was still the new kid. There was this girl, her name was Jayla. Not really her name, but I'm just going to say Jayla, because you ain't never know who's watching. But I feel like if she saw this, she would know that I'm talking about her, obviously. Jayla hated my guts. Jayla did not fucking like me. She made it very clear. There's actually this video, she's like, get out of my face. Like, she did not like me. One time I was playing basketball during PE, and me, not athletic whatsoever. The most athletic thing I've ever did was do swim my freshman year, and I only did it my freshman year. I was really, really bad, but I will tell you this, I was always beating my last time. So my races got better, still always finished last, but I always increased my time. So that was good. But anyway, like I said, not athletic in any way. Doing PE, I'm playing basketball. Jayla is on the basketball court. And so I shoot the basketball, and the basketball goes over the rim and it smacks Jayla's phone. And Jayla is now like pissed the fuck off. She already hates my guts, by the way. So this happens and she's pissed and she's like, you got to pay for my phone, this, that, and the third. I'm like, girl, I'm not paying for your phone. Are you crazy? I'm like, we're at PE, we're in class, and you had your phone out. So that was your fault. And two, it's not like I threw the basketball and it like smacked your phone or whatever. But I told my mom the situation, and she said, okay, like she doesn't mind paying for half of the phone. But by the time I'm like, okay, my mom says like we could pay for half of your phone, she was like, don't worry about it, my dad's gonna pay for it. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. This is how me and Jayla's relationship was. It was very like, I love you, I hate you, and I'm the one that loved her and she's the one that hated me. Senior year, we ended up in the same friend group. Mind you, like the type of school that we went to, like the popular kids knew the popular kids. Even if you weren't that popular, like if you played a sport or if you hung out with a certain person, you were going to be known. I was pretty known. Me and Jayla ended up being in the same friend group. So it was basically like multiple different friend groups who ended up being in like this one gigantic friend group. And so we ended up seeing more of each other, ended up hanging around each other more. And the more that we hung around each other, the more she didn't necessarily still like me, but she didn't hate me. So she was just like, whatever, like he's here, I'm here. We're not going to like ruin the vibe, you know, like whatever. But by the time we graduated high school, we became like best friends. And that's because my best friend was also her best friend. And so she was like, y'all are both my friends, so y'all need to get together. And literally that's how we ended up becoming friends. And I also feel like I manifested that because I was just so persistent in the thought that, girl, I like you. I don't care what you say to me. I don't care how much you say you don't like me, I like you and we're going to be friends. And we literally ended up becoming friends. It took 4 years, but it happened. Where are all these friends, right? It's like, how does someone go from having all these friends to having no friends? I'm going to tell you right after this water break. Ooh. I love ice cold water. I went manic. So I literally had a manic episode when I was 21. I think it was literally a little bit after I turned 21. I did a lot of crazy shit. And the reason why I went manic was because I was on a lot of psychedelic drugs. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that psychedelic drugs are bad for you. It ended up fucking me up, but I could have also seen why I was consistently taking the drugs, because once you hit a certain level of like how you see the world, you can't unsee it. So I feel like I was really greedy with it. I was greedy with the knowledge and the insights. I wanted more and I wanted it now, and I wasn't going to take no for an answer. But I didn't know what was really, really going on with the drugs, with me, with friends, with family, everything. And I had just came out of the closet like 6 months prior. So I was on a lot of psychedelic drugs and I wanted to reach this higher self. I wanted to know who God was. And I felt like at the time people were trying to keep me from doing that. I felt like people were being really weird and it made me like kind of paranoid. I'm not going to lie to you. It kind of turned me into like a conspiracy theorist, but about my own life. And I was like seeing things and like, no, I don't want to say hearing things. So I was maybe I was hearing some, but I was trying to know who God was. That was the whole purpose of me taking the drugs. I'm like, God, I want to be with you. I want to know who you are because clearly something's up here, And I used to tell myself like, God, I don't want anyone else to show me who you are. I want you to reveal yourself to me. I want it to just be me and you. So sometimes when I'm crying loneliness, I'm like, bitch, you manifested this. Like, did you forget all those conversations you were having with yourself? Oh God, I want to be with you. I just want it to be me and you. But it wasn't supposed to be forever. It was just supposed to be God reveal me, teach me your ways, but then like let me go help other people and teach other people, very egoic of me, I know. That's another thing about like spiritual ego. But yeah, I went manic and I was doing YouTube. So I was posting a lot of crazy shit on YouTube, a lot of crazy shit on Instagram, a lot of crazy shit on Snapchat. And here's the thing that I've learned about all of that. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's how you come across. If you are being like, I don't know, like too much, it's not the fact that you're saying the wrong shit, but it's like, how are people gonna see you as credible when you are under the influence? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like people understood where I was coming from, but at the same time, it was also like, you're acting crazy. I can't deal with this right now. So I feel like I lost a lot of friends because of this. And now I can't help but to think like, okay, but God, if those were really my friends, and let's say the roles were reversed and one of my friends was going through what I was going through, I understand that you take a step back and you're like, I can't allow this toxicity. I can't let this toxic behavior into my life because now you're pouring onto me and I'm feeling sad because my friend is going through this. So I understand walking away from the friendship. But my thing is, when you see the person getting better or wanting to do better, wouldn't that make you want to reach out and be like, hey, how are you doing? What's up? Like, if you really loved that person, if you really liked and cared for that person, wouldn't that make you want to be willing to give it another try? And that's just what I think about. I'm like, if they were really my friends, I really feel like at the end of the day, at least one person would reach out and be like, hey, how are you doing? Are you feeling better? But I didn't get that. You know what I mean? And like I said, I can't sit here and play victim because that's not going to work out for me at the end of the day. I'm the only one who's going to lose. I went manic, lost all my friends, and I started to feel guilty because you get to a certain point where now it's just you. Now it really is just you. And I felt deserted. No friends, family wasn't fucking with me neither. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I get it. I fucking get it. At the same time though, I also feel like I wish people would have seen, obviously this is a cry for help. Obviously this man is not in his right senses. And I think people took that as face value because I don't think who I was behaving as was who I am. Clearly he's on psychedelics. You know what I mean? Like he's seeing things in a different light. He's seeing you guys from a different lens, and I don't think people really gave me the benefit of the doubt. And that sucks. That one does suck because it's like, you've always deep down felt like a certain type of way about me. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you never really trust me. Maybe you never really saw me as a good person, So that really sucked. And I could be wrong, because sometimes I feel like the way I see and I try to narrate the situation, I could be wrong because I'm seeing it from my lens, but I can't say how they felt and how they were seeing me. People didn't want to fuck with me. Now I'm by myself, deserted, alone. How do I get out of this? So I'm trying to search up like ways to deal with guilt. That wasn't working because at the end of the day, I felt like God was like, no, you're going to feel this. All the pain that you basically were causing others, even though you didn't know, you have to feel that. You have to understand that what you did was wrong. And this was the only way. Before I was by myself, I used to be like, God, speak to me. God, speak to me. God, speak to me. When I was by myself, I didn't want to hear God. I'm like, girl, I don't want to hear it because I knew what was coming was like not good. I don't want to say not good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was just like things that I didn't want to hear, like basically letting me know, like, you fucked up. This is your fault. I didn't want to hear that at all. I didn't want to take any responsibility. I went from wanting to hear God to be like, no, girl. But God was like, you're going to hear me. And you're going to feel me. And I was feeling, it was like the wrath. It was like the wrath of God, because I feel like sometimes we're like, oh, God is loving and but I think there's also like another side of God, and I don't want to speak too much on it because I could be wrong. You know what I mean? Could be my experience, but I think sometimes we're like, God is all loving and all forgiving. Absolutely. But I also be feeling like there's another side of that, because I feel like we're more related to God than we think we are. Like we're actually super like more in tune to God and like more like God than we even realize. Yeah, I was trying to figure out like ways to deal with guilt. And a lot of people, I feel like I was watching more videos of people who were dealing with people who hurt them. And I'm like, I can't really relate to this because I'm the one who did the hurting. Do I feel like there were some people who hurt me? Absolutely. But the mass was me doing the hurt. It wasn't the fact that people hurt my feelings or I felt like I was wronged by people, but it was how I was responding to the pain. It wasn't what they did. It was how you were responding to what they did. I really couldn't find much. And I felt like at the end of the day, this is something that I'm just going to have to like ride that fucking wave. Even though at the time I really didn't feel like that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in hell. And then seeing people like posting on Instagram, posting on Snapchat, having a good life. I'm like, how are y'all living right now when I'm upset? That means y'all never really cared about me. I'm like, y'all are turning up. I'm sad. I'm dying. And y'all are it felt like people were celebrating. It literally felt, oh my God, that's literally how I felt. I felt like people were celebrating my sadness. People were celebrating like, oh, he really got his now. I've been waiting for this. Because at the time when you're going manic and you're doing all this shit, some people see, oh no, listen, babe, he's gonna calm. There's gonna be a time, right, when this shit calms down and he's really gonna know. So I feel like when it happened, people were like, oh, absolutely. And they were happy, so of course they're going to go celebrate and have a couple of beers and drink and turn the fuck up. That's where I'm coming from to where I am now. And I'm not going to lie, I've come hella far. I have come so far, although it is still a battle. And sometimes I feel like, is this shit getting worse? Like, is it supposed to be getting worse? Because I think I'm doing better. Like at least I thought in my mind, I'm doing better. I'm going to school. I'm working. I'm starting my YouTube channel again. I'm not bothering nobody. I should be getting better. Why am I not getting better? And that's why I'm like, this shit ain't real. It's deeper than that. And then you try to learn about the law of attraction and quantum mechanics and all these things. You're just like, okay, but I don't get it, because it's more to it than just sitting down and reading a book and like listening. Yes, they help, but there's a lot more to all of that. Sorry if I'm looking here and I'm looking here. I'm trying to look here. I'm trying to get better at looking at the camera, because I feel like when I look at the camera, it's making eye contact with you guys versus like when I'm looking at this. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Okay. I'm like, why is everything feeling like it's getting worse and not getting better? But I'm also learning that sometimes, although you're changing eternally, that doesn't mean your external is going to change immediately. Sometimes it might look like it's getting worse, but you have to stay with the mindset that it is getting better, even if it looks like it's getting worse. So that's something that I am learning. But now I'm feeling like I want friends. I don't want to be lonely forever. I want to stop feeling guilty for what I did, because it's not about what I did. It's about who I'm being now. I know it sounds corny, but it's really not about who I was acting it's about who I'm acting as right now. Like, who do I want to be right now? And that's who I have to be in this present moment, even though it's hard because I feel like sometimes it doesn't literally fucking matter. Like people already see you in this way and it's hard for you to get that reputation back. But I also feel like the right people will see you and feel you and understand and want to forgive you and bring you back or like help you out or just be a new friend to you, because we're always changing, you know? So I can't expect my old friends to be the same people that they were like when we were friends to how they are now. We're all different, especially because we haven't been around each other in that long. Definitely have all changed, you know? I think like now I want friends. Like I'm going to tell you guys a story, but I also want to touch on guilt. And I also feel like sometimes you can't wait for people to forgive you. You fucked up, you hurt people, you have to forgive yourself. You can't wait for people to forgive you because some people just don't want to forgive. Some people just won't forgive, and that's their prerogative. That's their right. No one has to forgive you. No one has to bring you back into their life, has to bring you back into their circle. And that's another problem that I had. I had this like, oh, I'm bigger, like I'm special. And it's not wrong to think you're special, but you also have to keep in mind that people are special too. Like, yes, you could be a blessing to people, but people could also be a blessing to you. And that's a lesson that I've learned because I'm like, please, I don't need y'all. I could be bad all by myself. No, God said you're going to be sad all by yourself. And sad I am. Sad I was. I don't know. Hopefully, it's, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Because I'm like, maybe if I talk about it, because a therapist once a week, yes, it helps, but I need something else within that. You know, like I need another session. So yeah, like guilt, you have to forgive yourself and you have to be genuine. You have to know that you've learned and you won't do it again. Don't wait for people to sit around and forgive you, because some people simply will not forgive you, and that is their right. They don't have to. No one owes you shit. No one owes you a fuck thing. And that is something that I've also learned, okay? And I also want to be a friend to myself. I want to be in a state where I feel like, yes, I want friends, but I'm good without it. You know, not in a crazy way, like I'm walking around talking to myself, but I know like it's a deeper connection to myself. I'm okay being alone. I can sit in silence with my thoughts and like I can have a good time. I can go to eat out at a restaurant by myself without needing to be around anyone. Really enjoy my own company and love myself without anyone else loving me. I do want to be loved by people though. I'm not going to lie to you. I want to be loved. I'm also scared that I don't know how to love anymore. Like I want friends. There's this girl, this is the story. There's this girl in one of my classes, and one thing about me, even though I'm gay, I love pretty women. I don't have a sexual attraction to women. I can say that I have an emotional connection, but nothing sexual. Like I don't want to have sex with you. I'm sorry. You're not my type, but I think you're beautiful. I want to be your friend. I want to get to know you better. So there's this girl who I've been seeing in one of my classes, and I think she also reminded me of one of my old friends, and she's a white girl. I don't know if that matters, but I feel like in order for me to give you like a good description, she's a white girl, and I don't have a problem with white people. You know, are there sometimes when I watch like a movie about racism and it makes me really upset about? Yes, it triggers me. But for the most part, like I think white people are chill. So there's this really, really pretty white girl, and she gives me like Disney princess vibes, right? And I've been seeing her since like the first day of school started. I've been in school for about a month and a half now. And so yesterday I just saw her, and like I think something just like pushed me to like let her know that I think she is so pretty, like so fucking pretty. No like extraness. She's beautiful, right? So I wrote her a note. I'm like, hi, I think you're really, really pretty. Like you give me Disney princess vibes. This is my number if you want to talk. I'm gay, by the way, so don't think like I'm a man trying to like talk to you, like read the shirt. I just look straight. I'm not straight though. So I just needed to let her know like I ain't no creep, right? And I also let her know it's okay if you don't text me. I just needed to let you know that I think that you are absolutely gorgeous. An hour later, I gave her the note after class. An hour later, she texted me and she's like, hi, this is a girl who you gave the note to. I read it and thank you. You literally made my day. And I'm like, period. That's literally all I wanted to do was let you know that I thought you were pretty, but I also wanted to see if you would like to like know me. Like I would like to get to know her better. That's basically what I told her. Like, I'd like to get to know you better. You seem like my type of girl, whatever. She didn't respond. She didn't respond. And obviously, like when that happens, it stings. You're like, damn, you know, but I also have to tell myself it's okay. At least you did it, you know, like, and mind you, I'm having a chat with, I'm talking to ChatGPT about all this. I'm letting her know, I'm like, hey girl, like I did this, I did that. ChatGPT was like, it's okay. As long as you know that you let her know you put yourself out there, like, you did nothing wrong. You weren't like doing too much. It was good. So I was obviously like, I wasn't super sad about it, but I'm like, damn, like she didn't respond and she doesn't have to respond. No one has to do anything. Like you let her know that she thought she was pretty. She said, thank you. You made her day. You wanted to take it further and she might not be wanting to take it further right now or at all. I had to really like leave it where it was at, but it also made me feel good that like I did it. And then there's this other old friend that I reached out to. And I think about my old friends, not a lot, but when I think about them, I'm like, I wonder if they're thinking about me. Like, I wonder if this is like a two-way, like a telepathy thing going on. It gets frustrated though, because I always feel like I'm the one who has the least amount of power in the situation because I'm always like, I'll text them. And I also feel like they're living their life in a way that they don't really need me. Like, yes, they can miss me, but they also have things going on in their life that it's like, if I'm never in their vicinity again, if I'm never in their lives again, they'll survive, you know? So they don't need to text me. But me, it's like, I ain't got nobody else to talk to. I feel like I'm thinking about you and I miss you, then I'm going to want to text you. But here's the thing, I'm trying to now pay attention to my intentions. What is the reason for my texting them? Am I texting them because I'm super, super lonely and I have no one else to talk to? Am I texting them because I genuinely miss them and I really have the intention to build a stronger connection with them again and try our friendship? So I really have to pay attention to why I'm doing it, not just doing it because I want to do it. And I also ask myself, like, let's say like me and them, we both parted ways and we were no longer friends. However, the friendship ended, right? And I made new friends and they made new friends. And I was doing like great in the world. Would I want to reach out to them and be like, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, I miss you, whatever, even though I have new friends? Like, so I have to think about it like in different scenarios because I really want to know my intentions behind why I do things and not just like doing them. I also think about like, damn, what about if like I were to blow up in some way? If like everything that I want came true, would I still want to reach out to them? Would I still want to hang out with them? Would they start reaching out to me? But yeah, that's just like what I'm feeling right now, or that's just what I felt. I still feel like I'm gonna feel that way, but it's better for me to release it, think about something else, or like feel a different emotion. Even though I can still feel sadness, I think I can have room to think about the sadness that I'm feeling in a different perspective. But I do think I'm ready to make friends. I'm just scared because I'm like, what about if I'm a shitty friend? Like, what about if I don't know how to be a friend? I want to be a good friend. So I'm super scared because I'm like, I don't want to, sending that girl a no, I'm like, God, what about if she actually wants to be friends with me? And then like, I don't know how to be friends with her. Like, I don't know how to be a friend. I don't even know how to be a human being. And I think I try so hard to be a perfect human being and like calculate my steps to the point where it's actually making me a bad one. Like, you're trying so hard to be perfect that you're actually becoming like hard to live with. You know, like you can't even live with yourself because you have to like think about every little thing that you do. That's not living. Okay. So I think that's another thing that I have to work on, and just like trying to be perfect when like, bitch, you're not perfect. Like, you are, because you know we're created in God's image and whatnot, but at the same time you're not perfect. You're an imperfect person. You're experiencing life for the first time, you know? So you have to give yourself some grace, cut yourself some slack. I just feel like nothing's real. Everything is fake. I just feel like it doesn't matter. Like, yes, it does, but it doesn't matter. Because if you don't go to work, then you ain't gonna be able to pay bills. You're gonna be homeless, you know, so that matters. I think there's some people who genuinely want to be homeless. I don't know, like, why would you want to be homeless? I think that's a topic for another day. But like when I was going through like my whole like shrooms era, I'm like, I could live in a bus. I could just like backpack around like America. Like, I don't care. I could be a beach bum. Like, what the fuck? I don't want to be a beach bum. Okay. I don't want to be a beach bum. I feel like even beach bums don't want to be beach bums. Like, if you gave them a free house to live in, they would take the free house. They just don't want to work for that shit. And I just feel like I see myself living a certain lifestyle that requires me to do something. It's just not just going to happen. And I'm a very entitled person. I can't say that I don't think God put me on this earth to work a 9 to 5. That's not my calling. I'm sorry. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. It is for me though. Okay. I'm not meant to work a 9 to 5. And that's something that I've been dealing with, just thinking like, oh, I actually made a clip of this and I was going to insert it into this video, but I'll just talk about it now. I think I spent a lot of time trying to tell myself that you don't have to be different. Be like everybody else. Like, why are you trying to be extra and try to be an influencer and be the 1%? Why don't you just try to be like everybody else? But it's like, why isn't everyone else trying to be like me? Why don't people think they deserve better? Why do I have to think of myself as less than in order for you to feel like good about yourself? Why don't you feel worthy for more? Because I feel like I'm destined for more. I think I want more. I think I'm worthy of more. Does that sound egotistical? I don't know, but that's just how I feel, and I don't think I should condemn myself for that. I think you should ask yourself, why don't you feel like you should be striving for more? Why are you okay with allowing another man to get rich off your labor? Even though like that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing, but you're choosing that, and that's okay. You want that life. You want to work for someone, and that is okay, girl. I'm not condemning you at all. I just don't want to do that shit. This is what I want to do. And I also want to talk about like just how I would love if you subscribed. Like I told myself, I'm like, I'm not going to make it about subscribers. I'm not going to make it about the money, but let's keep it real. We have to be honest with ourselves. Like when you're doing something, it's like, why are you doing it? What are your intentions? Like I said. So I realized I do want to be a YouTuber. I do want subscribers. I do want to build a community. You know what I mean? I do want to hear your comments. I do want your feedback. I want your likes. I want it. So the goal is 200 subscribers by the end of October. So if you want, please like and subscribe. I told myself I was not going to say these things, but here's the thing. I have to keep it real with myself. I do want that. I do want the YouTube lifestyle. I think it's meant for me. I want to share my experiences. Like I said, I don't mind putting my business out there. I don't mind talking about myself. I think it's not meant for everyone, but it's meant for me because people who don't get it, they're like, how can you just sit there and like expose yourself like that and just like be vulnerable and put all your feelings? And it's not easy. But I genuinely enjoy doing it. I don't mind at all. It's something that I'm good at. When I was younger, I used to look up Disney Channel number because I wanted to like be a Disney Channel actor. I've always felt like I was meant to be like seen. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like I've also spent so much time trying to suppress it that it's only making me more depressed and like sad about myself and who I am. When I was younger, I used to feel like I was always being watched. Like there was a specific time I would never forget. I was in the car and my mom was driving on the freeway and I just felt like something was watching me. Like it felt like me being in the car, being in the back seat was in a theater and people were watching. Like it felt, the movie, what's it called? What's that movie called with Jim Carrey where like everyone is in on this like big secret, they're watching him and his whole world is fake and they're trying to keep him like in this like simulation. That's what it felt like. People were just like watching me. Sometimes it felt like God was the one watching me, but I also feel like I see like a theater room of people just watching me perform or watching me live. It was like super crazy, but I've always felt like I was meant to be seen, So I think I want to actually fulfill that, but do that in a way that it's real and authentic and shows people the real me. No matter how hard it is, no matter how sad I am, I want to show it to everyone. I want to show everyone everything just because I feel like it also allows other people to connect to you and shows me and you that everyone feels these emotions. You're not the only one going through shit ever. Little things like that. This is going to be the last video that I'm going to make for the rest of the week. So I'm only supposed to be making a video once a week. Now, I can't say that I'm not going to feel like recording tomorrow, but here's the thing. When I first made my comeback YouTube video last week, I was in this mindset of like making another one and making another one. I made like 3 or 4 in a row and I had to tell myself, stop, because it's like, you have homework. You haven't been thinking about school. You have school. And I feel like because I was just putting a lot of energy into this, I wasn't doing schoolwork and I wasn't energized enough to go to school. So I think I needed to stop and really go back to my mindset of 1 video a week. If you have time to do more than that, go ahead and do it, but don't push one thing away so you can do this. So I think that's something that I'm literally going to have to stick to once a week. It's just crazy because every day I'm going through different emotions. And by the time I sit down and make a video next week, I don't know what I would be feeling throughout the week. And then I'd want to talk about in that moment. I mean, today was good. I feel like I really like had a flow in my channel. Obviously, there was some ums and you know what I mean, but obviously I'm going to edit that shit out. So whatever. But I'm going to try to keep it as real as possible. That wasn't cut, actually. That was just literally how I'm sounding. I'm going to try to keep it as real as possible and not try to make it look too perfect, but I'm also going to make it in a way, I feel like my thing is like slanted a little bit. I'm also going to try to make it in a way that is entertaining. You know, if I have a text, I'm going to add a text, little things like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to me yap. Right here it says 41 minutes, but I'm pretty sure by the time I edit it, it's probably going to go down to like 35 minutes. Either way, thank you guys for watching and staying to the very end. If you like this video and you want to see more of me being real and authentic, let me know. I be feeling discouraged sometimes because I see people who are also trying to make it into YouTube and I'm like, God, these people post every single day and they still aren't growing. But I have to stay in my own lane and I can't let that discourage me and just be real and authentic. And the people who are going to see it are going to see it. But I don't want to play it small. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I want to be that bitch on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be that girl on YouTube, but in a boy's body. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed your time. I hope you enjoyed mine, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.